China's AI race just hit a new phase. ByteDance has launched Dubao 2.0 right before Lunar New Year. Alibaba fired back with Qwen 3.5 and a $400 million user grab. DeepSeek is looming after last year's surprise takeover. And Google DeepMind just dropped Alethea, an AI agent that's already producing publishable math research on its own. So much is happening at the same time. So let's talk about it. Alright, so ByteDance just dropped Dubao 2.0 right before the holiday, and that timing is very deliberate. Dubao isn't some niche chatbot. It's already the most widely used AI app in China, sitting at about 155 million weekly active users by late December 2025. That's nearly double what DeepSeek has, which was at 81.6 million. Last year, DeepSeek managed to hijack this exact holiday window with a low-cost, high-performance model that shocked a lot of people outside China and briefly dominated global AI conversations. ByteDance clearly does not want a repeat of that story. Dubao 2.0 is being framed as a model built for what everyone is now calling the agent era. This is a big shift in how AI companies talk about their products. The pitch is no longer just about answering questions, chatting smoothly, or writing text. The focus is on AI systems that can actually carry out complex, multi-step tasks in the real world. Think planning, execution, verification, and follow-through, all in one loop. ByteDance is claiming that the Pro version of Dubao 2.0 delivers reasoning and task execution comparable to OpenAI's GPT 5.2 and Google's Gemini 3 Pro, while cutting usage costs by roughly an order of magnitude. That cost claim is not a side detail. It's central to why this matters. When you move from simple chat to long-running agents that plan, act, revise, and keep working, token usage explodes. Every step burns compute. ByteDance is openly saying that cost efficiency will decide who wins when AI starts doing real work at scale. They're positioning Dubao 2.0 as something developers and enterprises can actually afford to run continuously, not just demo. At the same time as Dubao 2.0, ByteDance also released Seedance 2.0, a video generation model, just days before the holiday. That one went viral almost immediately on Chinese social media and even drew praise on X from Elon Musk. Again, this mirrors what happened last year when DeepSeek caught everyone off guard during Spring Festival. ByteDance is trying to dominate attention across both text-based agents and generative video during the highest engagement window of the year. What makes this more interesting is that ByteDance isn't just defending against DeepSeek. Alibaba is pushing hard too. On February 6th, Alibaba launched a massive coupon campaign for its Qwen AI app, throwing 3 billion yuan, about $400 million, into incentives. Users could redeem those coupons directly inside the chatbot for food and drinks. The effect was immediate. Qwen's daily active users jumped from 7 million to 58 million in just a few days. That suddenly put it only about 23 million daily users behind Dubao on the same day, which is an insane swing driven almost entirely by incentives. This tells you something important about China's AI market. User numbers can shift fast. Loyalty is still fluid. People will try whatever feels useful, cheap, or rewarding in the moment. ByteDance still leads, but the gap is no longer comfortable, and everyone knows it. Under the hood, there's also a broader hardware and geopolitics story shaping these models. United States export controls have limited Chinese companies' access to NVIDIA's most advanced GPUs. That constraint is forcing Chinese AI teams to obsess over efficiency. They have to squeeze more performance out of fewer or less powerful chips, optimize inference, reduce token waste, and design systems that do more with less. ByteDance reportedly plans to spend over 160 billion yuan, around $22 billion, on AI-related procurement in 2026 alone. That's not a defensive move. That's a declaration that they intend to compete at the frontier, even with hardware restrictions in place. All of this is happening while China's AI ecosystem is quietly building its own internal momentum. While global media tends to frame everything as OpenAI versus Google versus Anthropic, the real daily competition for user attention, developer adoption, and ecosystem control is playing out between ByteDance, Alibaba, DeepSeek, Zhipu AI, and others inside China's massive internet population. Now, just days earlier, Google DeepMind introduced Alethea, an AI agent designed not for chat or consumer apps, but for professional-level mathematical research. This is important because it shows where the agent era idea actually goes when you take it seriously. Aletheia is built to bridge the gap between competition math, like the International Mathematical Olympiad, and real research, where problems stretch across massive literature, long horizon reasoning, and proofs that evolve over time. Models already hit gold medal performance at the 2025 IMO. The problem was that this didn't translate cleanly into research work. Aletheia tackles that by running an explicit agentic loop in natural language. At its core, Aletheia separates reasoning into three distinct roles. One part generates a proposed solution, another part verifies it, looking for flaws, gaps, or hallucinations. A third part revises the solution based on what the verifier finds. This loop keeps running until the output passes internal checks. DeepMind researchers found that this separation is critical because models often fail to notice their own mistakes when generation and verification are blended together. Aletheia runs on an advanced version of Gemini DeepThink and leans heavily on inference time scaling. In plain terms, letting the model think longer at query time dramatically improves accuracy. Between the 2025 and January 2026 versions of DeepThink, the compute required for Olympiad-level problems dropped by a factor of 100. That's not a small optimization. That's a fundamental shift in efficiency. On the IMO Proof Bench Advanced, Aletheia hit 95.1% accuracy, up from a previous record of 65.7%. On internal PhD-level benchmarks like Future Math Basic, it showed state-of-the-art performance. To avoid hallucinated citations, Aletheia actively uses tools like Google search and web browsing. It pulls in real mathematical literature and checks itself against it. This is the same pattern you're seeing everywhere else in AI right now. Agents are no longer closed boxes. They're systems that reason, check, fetch external information, and revise. What really turned heads, though, were the research results. Aletheia fully generated a peer-reviewed research paper called Feng 26 without human intervention, calculating structure constants known as eigenweights in arithmetic geometry. That paper was classified as essentially autonomous and publishable. In another case, it collaborated with human researchers by producing a high-level roadmap that humans later turned into a rigorous proof. And when deployed against 700 open problems from the Erdos Conjectures database, Aletheia found 63 technically correct solutions and fully resolved 4 open questions on its own. DeepMind didn't stop there. They proposed a taxonomy for AI autonomy in mathematics, similar to how autonomous driving levels work. It separates how independent the AI is from how mathematically significant the result is. This is an attempt to close the evaluation gap between flashy AI claims and professional research standards. Now, if you zoom out, you can see how this connects back to what's happening in China. ByteDance, Alibaba, and others are all talking about agents. DeepMind is showing what agents actually look like when pushed into serious work. And Alibaba, right in the middle of this Lunar New Year rush, unveiled Qwen 3.5. Qwen 3.5 comes in 2 forms. There's an open-weight version that developers can download, fine-tune, and run on their own infrastructure, and there's a hosted API version that runs on Alibaba's cloud. Both were released right on the eve of Chinese New Year, just like Dubao 2.0. Timing matters here. Alibaba is pitching Qwen 3.5 as a model built with native multimodal capabilities. It can handle text, images, and video inside a single system. It also leans heavily into agentic and coding capabilities and is explicitly compatible with open-source AI agents like OpenClaw, which recently surged in popularity. That's a strategic move. Alibaba wants Qwen to sit at the center of an ecosystem where agents can plug in, act autonomously, and scale. The open-weight Qwen 3.5 model has 397 billion parameters. That's fewer than Alibaba's previous flagship, but the company claims performance improvements across the board based on internal benchmarks. They're also pushing global ambitions hard, expanding language support from 82 to 201 languages and dialects. That's a massive jump and a clear signal that Alibaba isn't just thinking domestically. At the same time, Alibaba released Qwen 3.5 Plus as a hosted model through its Model Studio platform, claiming performance on par with leading models from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google DeepMind. Those claims are self-reported, and CNBC couldn't independently verify them, but the direction is clear. Alibaba wants Qwen to be seen as a peer to the top Western models, not a regional alternative. Industry analysts are taking this seriously. Counterpoint Research pointed out that AI agents could upend traditional internet and SaaS business models entirely. If agents start doing work directly for users, many existing software layers become optional or irrelevant. Chinese AI companies are clearly aware of this and are trying to position themselves ahead of that shift. What's interesting is how all these threads line up around the Lunar New Year. DeepSeek used it last year to explode into global consciousness. ByteDance is now trying to lock down attention with Dubao 2.0 and Seedance 2.0. Alibaba is throwing money at Qwen adoption and pushing Qwen 3.5 with agent support and open weights. Everyone understands that this holiday window acts like an amplifier. Family gatherings, social sharing, idle time, and curiosity combine into a perfect distribution engine. And all of this is happening while Western AI companies are accelerating agent development too. Anthropic recently released new agent tools. OpenAI confirmed that the creator of OpenClaw is joining the company. Google DeepMind is publishing research showing agents autonomously producing publishable math. Demis Hassabis has said Chinese models are only months behind Western ones. So when ByteDance claims Dubao 2.0 matches GPT 5.2 and Gemini 3 Pro at a fraction of the cost, that claim sits in a very specific context. It's not just marketing. It's a response to hardware constraints, a defense against domestic rivals, and a bet that cost-efficient agents will define the next phase of AI adoption. What you're watching here is a synchronized escalation. As China enters the Lunar New Year, this competition plays out across app downloads, social media clips, and real-world usage. Dubao 2.0's performance during this period will signal whether ByteDance can hold its lead or whether aggressive moves from Alibaba and future releases from DeepSeek start to reshape the rankings again. That's where we'll leave it for now. Thanks for watching, drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next one.